morning and welcome everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Holly Bretherton, who is the State Manager for Queensland for ACS, and she will take you through an overview of the presentation and introduce you to CODEBOTS. Thank you.
Good morning everybody, and welcome to everybody that we have online today. So we've got people dialing in from Cairns, from Townsville, Brisbane, Rockhampton, Melbourne and Sydney, and welcoming our students today here in the room. So I'd like to start firstly by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and to pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. And I'd also like to put a big shout out and vote of thanks to CQU and the School of ICT, in particular, particularly Marilyn Wells and Roy Pigeon for making this event possible today. So today we have an absolutely fantastic presentation from Team CODEBOTS, who are an awesome tech company based down in Milton in Brisbane. And they've got a platform that helps you write fully customizable source code and helps companies in doing that. So today the team are going to talk a little bit about who CODEBOTS are, what it's like to work there and their fantastic culture, and also some of their upcoming graduate opportunities that you can look out for. Following the presentation from CODEBOTS, I'll talk you through ACS student member benefits and essentially what's in it for you. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our fabulous presenters, Tessa Holland and Aisha Jane. So Tessa is the education lead at CODEBOTS, and since 2015 she's worked alongside many companies and organisations to modernise their old software systems, taking their legacy processes and redesigning them into software built on modern tech stacks. Currently she works teaching people about the CODEBOTS platform, helping them on board and getting them ready for migration. Following Tessa's presentation, we'll introduce you to Aisha, and Aisha's an employee experience and talent acquisition coordinator at CODEBOTS, and people are her passion. So Aisha's career is driven by her thirst for tackling new challenges and helping employees to reach their goals and make opportunities for a positive impact at CODEBOTS. She's working constantly to create a culture and environment where the CODEBOTS team can thrive and create innovative tech. So over to you now, Tessa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Holly. All right, so fingers crossed this works. All right, okay, so welcome everybody. Today, as Holly said, we're going to be talking about what CODEBOTS is, what it's like to work with our company, and hopefully maybe to entice you to either use the product or come work for us. So this presentation, my little AKA note, a presentation about how you can be lazy and build an app from scratch in 30 minutes with almost no effort needed. So my name's Tessa, I'm the education lead and head of customer success at CODEBOTS. I run the demos, I help people understand how CODEBOTS works. But what I think I personally specialise in the most is dogs, houseplants and flat pack furniture. I love me a good IKEA setup. And I'm joined by Aisha, who's sitting next to me. She'll be talking in a moment. She works with our employee experience team, working on our talent acquisition and hiring people. She specialises in funky earrings, hip hop and rap music, and anything to do with coffee. You should have seen her this morning. She was like, I need coffee now. I don't think about anything else. Anyway, to dive into it, so what we're going to talk about is what CODEBOTS does. I'm going to show you how it works, and then we're going to talk about employment. So what is CODEBOTS? So CODEBOTS, aka software robots, is a code generation tool. So it uses the concept of model-driven development, where you model out what you want the data structure of your application to look like, and then it hands that model over to the code bots so that they write the code for you. What makes us different from a lot of no-code and low-code platforms, though, is the ability to come back and change that model anytime you like. So if you've built out an application, you've realized you're missing a table in your database or you need to rename an attribute, you can go through, you can rename those items and the bots will make those changes for you. But you're also able to write custom code alongside the bots so that you can do all the cool logic. So how do you go about using it? It's a pretty simple process. You choose which tech stack you want to use. You design out the database, user interface, and security structure. You then customize it with extensions and you write custom code. Sorry, I'm just breezing through these slides because I want to skip to the demo time. All right, now if you just bear with me, hopefully this doesn't break. Here we go. All right, so this is the CODEBOTS application. So we've got 3 different diagrams here. We've got the entity diagram, the interface diagram, and the security diagram. Now, this is an app that I built earlier. It's just a really basic timesheets application. You can see here I've got this timesheets entity, and I've got these attributes. So I've got the status, which is an enum, so you can choose between pending, approved, and denied. You've got a date. We've also got the total hours worked. We've got this validation on here, so this total hours worked has a required validation, so my users have to put in the total hours worked. We've also got a range saying they can only put up to 100. We've got the staff entity, so those are the staff members who make the timesheets. They can come through, they can create a new timesheet. We get their phone number, their date of birth, and then we've got the relationship mapping, the fact that the staff members make the timesheets. It's a one-to-many relationship. It's very easy to make a relationship. You just drag between them and you choose which type you want. Let's go ahead and delete that so it doesn't break my application. But what we're looking at is it's essentially an entity relationship diagram. It's very basic. We don't have things like IDs, foreign keys, anything like that, but it does exist in the database itself. But it's just sort of a simple representation. So we've got this overview here, so you can see all of the entities down the side, you can see all of your attributes, and you can even search. So if I search by time, it'll show me the timesheets entity, and I can even focus on the map. So our entity diagram is capable of having up to 150, 200 entities on it at one time. That's when it starts getting slow and painful to use. That being said, that is a humongous application which wasn't designed properly. Normally our large applications, they max out at about 50 entities. So we've also got the concept of templates. So if you just want to muck around, see what CODEBOTS can do, or you want to sort of start from somewhere, you can drag our template, one of the templates onto the diagram. So I drag out this assessments template. And that's just a very common app that you would use when you're tracking assessments. So you can see we've got staff and students, achievements, that kind of thing. We've also got the concept of saved snippets. So if you're making multiple apps on CODEBOTS, the saved snippet allows you to create like little saved versions. So I could do this, I could save it as a snippet if the Zoom window wasn't in the way. I can save it as a snippet and then I can drop this into any app that I make on CODEBOTS. So that's really handy if you want to reuse things, like maybe your staff entity. Yeah, that's kind of it for the basics of the entity diagram. We've got a whole range of different attributes available, just pretty much the standard list that you would expect to see in any database. You've got your strings, your booleans, your date times, and if you do come to use CODEBOTS and we're missing something you'd expect to have, then send us a message and we try to get it in as soon as possible. Now, the one thing I didn't cover is the concept of extensions. So I did mention them briefly when I was in my introduction, but extensions are like your plugins. They're the cool stuff which goes beyond just designing out the structure. So we've got the user extension that allows users to log into your application, register themselves. It gives you the full user management in the back end of your application. You're probably going to use it. I haven't yet seen an app which doesn't use the user extension. And it's very handy because it actually hooks into the security diagram, which I'm going to be showing you later. We've got forms, so that's kind of like a survey builder if you want to capture data from your users. We've got workflow, so that's transitioning between different states and certain orders. And then we've got timelines, which I've actually, I accidentally added it again, which I've actually added into this entity. So the timeline not only tracks all the different changes made around records of your entity, but it then visualizes those in a gorgeous little graph. So you've got a visual representation of changes over time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the interface diagram so you can see what that one looks like. Now, interface diagram is quite simple. It's not designed to be a prototype builder like what you see online on the internet. We don't do the fancy things because those tools exist, and a lot of developers, they don't really like fiddling around with the UI builders when they could just instead code it themselves. So it's fairly simple. We got the concept of pages. You can have a home page, which is my welcome page here, and then you have items. So we've got some basic content items around columns and rows for layouts, some text elements, some form elements. They do need to be hooked up with custom code though, they don't just work out of the box. But we've also got the concept of these extensions and these custom tiles. So earlier I mentioned the timelines visualization. If I jump over to this reporting page that I made earlier, I've got this timeline tile here. And what you do is you just link it up to the entity that you want it to be hooked up to, and then this will add the graph onto the page for me. So it can be really easy to get some cool stuff out of it. Now this timesheets page, again, is very basic on the UI diagram. But what I've done is I've hooked it up to that timesheets entity from my entity diagram, and this will now list out every timesheet in my database. It gives me the ability to add new timesheets. I can edit those existing timesheets, I can delete them, and it's also got searching and filtering as well. So really powerful right out the box. And then we move on to the security diagram, which is a bit of a combination between the two. What we've got along the top is we've got these admin entities, the admin user groups, the staff user groups, and the visitors. And for each of them, you can control where they have create, read, update, and delete access for all the different entities and pages that you've set up in the different diagrams. We've also got the ability to give them access to the back end of your application, because every CODEBOTS application comes with a fully managed backend, which gives you full database management, full user management, and also the ability to customize the extensions which need it inside the app. So what I was talking about earlier is the ability to go through and make changes to the diagram quickly. So let's just pretend I've built out this app, I've put it in front of some of my users, and they've said, look, it's really good, but I don't like having a single field. My total hours worked. I want to be able to break it up by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So all I need to do is come in here, let's delete that attribute. I'm going to go in and I'll add in a decimal attribute for Monday hours. And let's pretend I do this for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm not going to do that here in the demo. And I can come in, I could make it required. I can add in another validator with a range saying they can only put in 24 hours for that field. That's a mistype. And then I can come through and I can build my application. So I'm just rebuilding it now, and the bots are going to go away. They're going to run a little bit of validation to make sure I haven't done anything super bad. And then we're going to see the fireworks. So when I say fireworks, I mean literal fireworks. It's a visual representation of the bots moving around inside the code base. So they're like warming up, they're like making things a little bit tense in the demos, because it's always like, oh, is it going to work this time? But here you go, you can see that starting now. And then we'll be able to see the bots moving around between each of the different files in the code base as they build it out. It looks a little insane. Hopefully it does come through on the Zoom. Sometimes Zoom makes things a little bit blurry. Here we go. So you can see the bot moving around, writing to each of the different files. So it's quickly mapping out the structure that's already in there. And here now you can see it's moving around to the files, making the changes which I needed to be, which I made in the entity diagram earlier. So I promise it's a lot more smooth in real life. Zoom just slows it down and blurs it. I would 100% recommend you guys jumping on and building something yourself just to see it. It's a pretty impressive site. All right, so what we've got here is we've just built, we've finished. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to quickly pull this code down on my computer to run it, to show you guys what it looks like, and then I'll come back to the screen. Because unfortunately it takes a few minutes to set up. So I've just got this repo here, I'm just going to pull, and you can see I've had this push come through 1 minute ago. So the bots commit to a Git repo just like they were any other developer. It's in my name because I was the one who was logged in, but if you've got multiple team members, it'll show whoever was logged in at the build time as the person making the change. So I've pulled my thing. If I just go to my Finder, so we use Docker as the program to make it easy to set up your application. That just packages it all into a neat little file. And we've got start and stop commands for the major operating systems. So I can just double click on the max start command and it's going to go away. It's going to start running my terminal and get my server side, my client side set up. And running locally. Just pause for water. Now, because I'm on a laptop and I'm on a Mac, that is the absolute worst combination that you can have, which means it's the slowest at about just under 5 minutes. Because I've run it on my computer before, it should be a bit faster. But while we're waiting for that, I can show you one that I built earlier. Now, just quickly jumping back to these app statistics. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see it, but my application is 84,000 lines of code. That is very big for such a simple application. But if you think about it, you're getting, it's a good foundation. The more changes you make in the diagram, it's not going to grow exponentially. It's just kind of this initial setup of having that large back end. It's got all the untapped potentials of the extensions, that kind of thing. So it's not going to become this behemoth if you build out something with 100 entities in it. And as you can see, it only took about a minute to write those 84,000 lines of code. So it can save you a lot of time. Now the concept of the preview app is what I'm going to be showing you now. So that it runs your app in a production environment for 24 hours. So if I just jump across here, this is the one that I set up. I set it up about an hour ago, and you can see my little countdown in the corner. But this is the one that I built and launched. So this is really handy if you don't want to worry about setting things up locally, or if you want to share your app with someone. You have like a manager who doesn't want to run it locally, you just shoot them through the link. It's really handy for user testing because you can just email out the link to 100 people and they can jump on and have a play around. So this is the welcome page that I made in my interface diagram. So if we just jump back to my builds, got the welcome page. Welcome, this is the timesheet application. We've got this one here ready to go. Now, I'm not logged in as anything because when visitors have access to this page, if I try to go to the timesheets app, it will tell me I need to log in. So I'm just going to log in as my admin account because it's an example that does have fake accounts set up so you can use it. Just log in and we'll close all of my password pop-ups. Apologies for that. And this is the timesheets page with the data table tile I was talking about earlier. So I can come in, I can make a new timesheet. Let's just give it a status, say it's for today, and I worked 36 hours that week, and I'm assigning it to the staff user. So I can submit that, and bam, I have a timesheet made in my database. I can come back, I can edit it, so let's just pretend I came in and approved it, hit the submit button, and easy as pie, I'm editing. We've also got the searching and the filtering that I mentioned earlier. And I talked about the reporting page earlier with the graph on it. So you can see, obviously it's a very basic timeline because I only just made a timesheet. But you can see here, we've got this list of recent activity that I created and updated it. We've got a list view, so you can see the changes and you can even see which fields changed from what to what. So you get a really good ability to do tracking and logging. Now we do also have the standard logging in the code base itself, which tracks all the changes, but this is a really good way of visualizing that, which is really good for your users. Now earlier I mentioned about the full back end of the application. I can jump into the admin section, expand out the menu. You can see I've got user management, so I can see given my different user groups, I can create new ones. I've got the entity management for managing out all my data, and I've also got the timelines in the back end as well. Now because I spun up my app in about 5 minutes, it's going to look almost identical front end and back end because I haven't written any custom code, I haven't done any styling, any of that. But the back end is full of potential as well. If I jump back to the home page, you'll notice here we've got the GraphQL and the OpenAPI. That's because every single application written on CODEBOTS comes with a fully fleshed out API as well. Anything that got written has all of the custom API endpoints that you need with the same security permissions that you set up in the security diagram. Obviously, if you write any custom code, you'll have to update the API for that, but it makes it really easy to work with the data and also hook up other programs to work with it as well. Now, yep, looks like my local machine is running ready to go. So if I just go to my local host, so it's going to look almost identical, but it'll ask me to log in. I'm already logged in. And you can see here, instead of having the total hours worked, I've instead got this Monday hours field and when I create it, I've got that one instead. So it's a very simple example of what it looks like to rebuild and reconstruct your diagram, but it shows you how easy it can be. We've worked with clients previously who they came to us, they said, look, we've got our entity diagram, we've screwed it up because we can't do this thing now, we think we need to redesign it. We spent about half an hour on their diagram with them, we renamed things, we changed relationships, we restructured a whole bunch of things. We got the bots to build, and then the developer went away. She took about a day, half a day to update her custom code to make sure it still worked with all the new changes, and their application was done, it was updated. Talking to them afterwards, they're like, yeah, it would have taken us about a week to make all of those changes without the bots there. But the kicker is, they wouldn't have made those changes in the first place because it would have been too much effort, it would have been too much of a time sink, but they would have been shooting themselves in the foot later on because they couldn't do this thing. So it makes it really easy to not get that technical debt going through as you're building it out. So that's kind of it for the main demo. Just super quick, I'll show you a few more things, what it looks like writing custom code. So with the Git repos, you can either use one that we've set up for you, that is of course private, we don't have access to it, or you can nominate your own Git repo if you want to manage it yourself. So we believe in having that control. A lot of low-code platforms and no-code platforms, they'll lock you in with your vendors. They will write code which is unreadable, or you can only edit it on their platform. We don't believe in that. You guys have access to your Git repo, you can do whatever you want with it. You can build it and never come back to CODEBOTS if you want. That's up to you. But as you can see, it's all human readable, and all throughout it, we've got these protected regions. So the protected regions are how the bots know not to overwrite your code. Essentially, all it is this, you have opening and closing comments. You can turn a protected region on. You can write whatever you want in the middle, and the bots won't ever touch that. As long as you leave it off, the bots will come through, they'll make the updates, they'll make the changes until you tell it otherwise. So you can leave it 99% bot written, you can dial it all the way back to being 50% bot written. That control's in your hands. Pretty sure that's it for everything I had to show you guys. We do offer a 7-day free trial if you guys want to jump on, have a look. We actually are willing to extend it out to 14 days since you guys have had an in-person demo with me. If that's the case, set up your site, send me an email, and I'll extend that out for you to 14 days. Just send me a message and I'm happy to do it. I imagine you guys might have questions around student pricing and that kind of thing. It is normally $80 per developer per month to use the platform. I've talked to my boss, he's very open to the concept of a student discount. Unfortunately, we don't know what that is yet, but if you send me a message saying you're interested, I'll let you know as soon as we set something up. So yeah, we're keen on having chats with you guys, and we're open to thoughts, influences, suggestions, feedback, that kind of stuff. So always feel free to reach out, we're a very open company. But yeah, that's everything I had to show. Now I'm just going to jump back to the presentation. And I'm going to slide on over to Aisha.
Thank you, Tessa, for the awesome demo. Hello all, I'm Aisha, and I'll be talking about what does it look like to work at CODEBOTS, and what does it take to be behind the scenes that is actually writing the code that bots are writing. So before I start, I'll be playing you a video that we prepared beforehand. And just a heads up that the music is really slow in the video, but just imagine a rock show happening in the background, and that's how the exact work environment is. So don't be disheartened, why is the music so slow like an elevator music? It's just so that we can present it, but it's a lot more intense and fun, definitely.
Hey, this is CODEBOTS. These are our locations. This is our neighborhood. This is our office. Here's the elevator. Here's where we all sit. Here's the lunch table. Here's our pool table. Oops! This is one of our employees drinking beer from the keg. These are our 4 company values. These values shape our company culture, which we live and breathe every day. These are our different teams. We are all cross-functional and love collaborating. We are a team of people with a shared goal, working together to create something bigger and better than one person could do alone. Here is our CEO. He did his PhD on a model-driven approach to developing and testing web applications. He loves his company and does a lot for the community. He also loves Star Wars. Here is our employee experience team. They look after us, help us grow, and organise all of our fun events. Here are some of the parties that we've had over the last year. And every second Friday we have Inspa Jams, where people share a topic of interest. We also have office chess, Friday afternoon playlists, beers, and monthly birthday Fridays. And finally, here is our awesome product, CODEBOTS. Efficiency is our priority, but we believe that no matter what you do, make sure it's something that you're proud of. Don't rush. This could be your desk. These could be your friends. This could be your coffee cup. We have lots of people from interesting backgrounds here at CODEBOTS. We love it here, and so could you. This is CODEBOTS.
Yeah. Sorry, we're having a technical difficulty. If only we were a tech company, we did.
So that may just look cool, calm, and collected. It is a startup, so it's a little bit more crazy than that. This is what our developers have to say about it.
So that was CODEBOTS, pretty cool. We are a massive Star Wars fan, as you might have seen. I did take a bit of time to get up to Star Wars and actually start watching them to be able to understand what exactly is happening and why is there a massive fan base in this company. But yes, it's good once you get onto it. Anyhow, of course, we're always on the hunt for devs, designers, growth team members to join our team. But what does the culture actually look like at CODEBOTS? So what we did is we asked our devs themselves, what do you think it is, what the dev culture is at CODEBOTS like? So let's see what they had to say. Always be problem solving, which I believe as engineers you enjoy solving problems on an everyday basis. So that is something that you will definitely see at CODEBOTS. It just works. But if you see down, it says it works, but only on my machine. So that's something you'll definitely hear a lot. Always laughing, engaging in banter, or having a discussion on thought experiments. And there are always the good processes in place, and those processes help you get through what you are building, and also to be able to protect you in what processes, on what you're building. Obviously, there will be interesting challenges every single day, and we are a unique bunch. And you might be looking at the image, the first one and the second one. Why is there a rubber duck? I'm not sure if some of you might know, might not know, but it is actually in software engineering, it is a way to debug your code. It's the name is a reference to the book, it's a chapter from the book, Pragmatic Programmer. And carrying the rubber duck, there was this person while he was writing a code, and he was carrying a rubber duck just so that he could say the line, or just to be able to find that bug, he would say the line, code line one by one to the bug, and that's how he would decode his bug. And that's, if you are at our office, you will see a lot of rubber ducks around the office, quite a bit. And that is, essentially so that you can look at it, and before you go and start freaking out what is wrong with my code, you start looking at the duck and start solving your problem. So that's something super cool I thought I could share with you.
That being said, working at CODEBOTS, you're also surrounded by a lot of senior developers and other junior developers, so you can talk to real people.
Yes.
But if you've had enough social interaction, the rubber ducks are always there to back you up as well.
Yeah. And before we go to that, so you could definitely send your resume if you are interested in working with CODEBOTS to jobs@codebots.com, or you could connect with me or Tess on LinkedIn Something that I would recommend that you highlight on your resume when you're sending, or not just to me, but to any company, is to highlight your personal projects. So there might be a lot of personal projects that you might be working on at uni projects, or something that you're working personally that actually showcases your strengths and your knowledge. So that really helps us to get to know that yes, you do like coding, and to be able to understand your experience in depth. And
Friends points of that it's built on CODEBOTS.
yeah.
That's not a requirement though.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if you did notice, there was the 4 company values that we spoke about. Actually, Tessa is wearing the t-shirt to one of our company values, that is fun but not professional. And something that we do value is that you align with the company values and you resonate with them, if not anything at all, and you understand what exactly and why they take a huge place in our company. So if you could highlight that, that would be another great thing to add in your resume, definitely would stand out. But we are always on hunt for devs to join our team. And we have different teams, that is bot team that you might have seen, platform team, R&D team. So this is a dev team. Bot team would be essentially working on adding new features to the CODEBOTS that we're building. The platform team is building the platform itself, and R&D is constantly working on the next generation of the bots. They're doing the research and seeing what exactly can be done with the bots that we already have. So there are different opportunities, and if dev is not what you're looking for, there is definitely design and growth. And the design team is adding the entire UI and the UX to our CODEBOTS platform and tool itself. And the growth team is obviously helping educate our team, find our market, and also sell what we are building, what we are building over here. So definitely, if anything interests you, let us know. But if you have any questions, please.
You can send them through chats, feel free to unmute yourself and talk. Have we got any in the room? Anyone on Zoom?
I've got one. So do you have a formal graduate program? When might that open?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So if you are graduating, I'm guessing in June or July you'll be graduating. What we do is help you get on board, and you don't have to worry if you do not have experience at all. With the graduate program, we will be helping you get introduced to different teams that we have, and you'll be working with different teams in the first 6 months. And once we got you up to speed, then you would be able to work on the actual bots themselves. And that would be rolling out soon around July. But that's in process. But obviously, we are always happy to have a resume on file and reach out to you first before we roll that out to everyone else. Yeah.
We do have a lot of undergraduates or recent graduates in the office. I myself, I joined when I was in my 2nd year of uni, and I was at uni for another 1.5 years before I even went full time. We enjoy supporting students and helping them grow their skills. A lot of our undergraduates who work with us, they rave about how amazing it is to be able to work in the professional environment with experienced developers. They find that, yes, you learn a lot of things at uni, but it's not the same as working with an actual goal, with an actual team, and they absolutely love it. And they've actually found that uni has become significantly easier for them because they're working on these more complicated things and they're enjoying them.
It does help to add or use your theoretical knowledge and put it into practice. That really helps you excel at uni as well.
I think you may have explained it so well that they have no question.
So, like I said, if you're interested, if you want to have a go at the platform, just sign up. You'll give you a free trial. Then send me a message and I'll extend it out for you guys. We're actually working on a new product which we're building at the moment, which is going to be released in 3 or 4 weeks if what the developers say is accurate, which probably not. But it's the concept of generating. So this generates the code and lets you iterate and continually redesign it. The generate is more of a one-off option where you choose all the different options like adding Google Analytics, Stripe payment, that kind of stuff. And you can just choose what you want, hit the button, and it'll build out the application. You can do what you want from there. So that's the other product option as well. So checks.
Okay, so this platform is for developers with existing knowledge of coding, or this is to help minimize the
Yeah. So
coding for
you do need to know coding to be able to use CODEBOTS. That being said, we've actually found a lot of students do like using CODEBOTS. There is a professor somewhere over in the US who's telling the students to use CODEBOTS for their capstone projects because it gives you that basis, that good foundation. It lets you see what good code looks like. It gives you, it opens you up to opportunities that you might not even be aware existed in the code. So you don't need to know how to code. It's definitely, it definitely will help you learn how to code, but you do need a basis. You need to be able to understand it. That being said, our platform does come with a built-in library and academy. So our library is like a wiki of knowledge around how to do anything you could hope to do on CODEBOTS, and if knowledge is missing, send us a message, we'll write something. But we've also got the academy, which is your more guided lessons around how to do it. So we've got lessons, if I come across, okay, my mouse isn't working. That makes things interesting. Here we go. So we've got this Learn CODEBOTS, and the academy is guided content, and we've got information about all of our tech stacks and how to work with them. So we've broken it down. So we've got C# and Springboard are our two tech stacks. So you can see we've got full stack courses, we've got testing courses, server-side, client-side. We've got information about the different extensions which are available. So there's definitely a lot of support to help you discover what you can do with the bots. So yeah, it'll definitely help you learn. You don't have to know everything. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so do you have the internship program up?
Currently not.
No.
No, we don't have internship, but we do casual employment. It's just that we believe in that you get paid for the work that you're doing with us. So we do have casual employment, but we do not have internship, if that answers your question.
Okay. Yeah, because I will be completing my this semester 3 units, and after that I'm having an internship unit. So I'm just wondering if they were taking internship programs.
We can meet the engineering program requirements of working in an engineering company.
Yeah.
If you're software engineers, we do have qualified engineers working with us, so they can be your mentors and they can tick off those engineering hours for you. But we don't have internship options, unfortunately.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Hi, Tessa, and
Hi.
sorry, you guys were looking the other way. I was just
Okay. Sorry, this is
I was actually referring to you on. So I'm actually I've been working as a business analyst for almost 6 years, 7 months. I'm actually a professional, but then I joined Master of Information Systems this year on the Brisbane campus. So I was just wondering. So I've just left my job last day. Yesterday was my relieving day. So I was just wondering, do you have any positions which are related to business analysis or testing of that sort, even for casual kind of a thing? Or do you recruit after, I mean, after people graduate, do you have any positions for business analysis, testing? I did see that testing was one thing, but yeah.
Yeah. At this point, I can't promise you that there is a position for BA or testing, but obviously we aren't set on the positions that we have. And with that being said, we obviously will look at your resume, and we are a company, to give you in short or give you an overview. We are a company. We do not look at a position. We look at the people. We look at the person, and we see how they could benefit our team. And always in our recruitment style, it is, or the way we recruit is not like a position. If we see a person, yes, this person could do this. They bring these strengths. They bring these qualities. We can definitely find a position for them. So do not hesitate to get in touch with us.
Yeah, sure.
Encouraging people to explore what they want to work on. I think I'm in my 5th role in this company. I started out as a personal assistant. I moved on to being a designer/developer. Then I moved on to being a team lead. Then I moved on to leading the education team. And now I'm moving into more of a salesy, that kind of role. So we also encourage people to explore what they want to do. And if you love working at the company, but you're not loving what you're doing anymore, all you need to do is tell us and we'll do our best to find a role for you. Even if it's a role we've never used before, we'll do our best to keep you and let you explore and grow. We do have our sister company, Working Mouse, who uses the CODEBOTS platform to build out applications for clients. I think they do have a more of a BA roles.
Yeah.
They're not hiring for it. But
Yeah.
Sure, I'll get in touch with Ayesha and I'll just I'll connect. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Any other questions?
There's one in the comments section. Just wondering what technical skills and language do CODEBOTS emphasise on?
So our two tech stacks are C# bot, so that's a C# React combination. The second one is Springbot, which is a Spring Angular combination. But the CODEBOTS platform itself is built on a LAMP stack, so that's PHP. So any of those skills, well, those are the languages that we work with. That being said, the more languages you know, the easier it is to pick up another language, and we're always happy to help you through that process as well. But those are our preferred tech stacks. Does that answer your question, or do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, no, it wasn't my question. It was asked on the chat.
Thank you for pointing that out.
That's okay.
Anything else we can answer? Things we can change?
Are all of your positions in office, or do you have remote workers, at-home workers, that sort of thing?
We do have people working remotely. We have an employee working in Mullany. We have our team member in London, and he's by himself. So we are open to remote opportunities and employees who are working remotely. I go to
Let's just switch presentation. Hey, it worked.
Tessa and Ayesha, thank you so much for that fantastic presentation. It was great to see the tech in action, but hear about the culture and what it's like to work there. And I've visited CODEBOTS a few times, and what strikes me the moment I walk in the door, it's just such a warm place. It's welcoming. You can see that everybody just gets on so well and love working together. I'd love to know how I can get a job at CODEBOTS. Definitely sold me today. So today, as the State Manager of ACS Queensland, I thought I would step through for all of you, essentially, what's in it for you as a student member? What can you get out of ACS student membership, and how can it support you on your emerging tech career? So I thought I'd start out with who we are, where do we fit in? The ACS is the national peak membership body for technology here in Australia. So I guess similar to if you think about CPA for accountants or the Law Society for lawyers, we play that role as your professional body, your go-to and your advocate at each and every stage of your career journey. So we were established in about 1966. We're 50,000 members strong nationally, which is phenomenal. And we've got around 2,700 members here in Queensland. And interestingly, we've grown at about 32% over the last year, which I think is testament to the interest and the uptake in careers in technology, and particularly through the COVID period, as we saw tech enable remote working, living, socialising. It was just phenomenal how tech sort of came into gear and supported all of us through that COVID period. So our members span everybody from students to graduates to early to mid-career professionals and up to senior professionals, so your CIOs and your CTOs. And we also play a really important role in the tech startup sector. And in Brisbane, we're based at River City Labs, which some of you may have visited or have heard of, and it's the heart of the tech ecosystem in Brisbane. And when you become a student member with us or a member, you do have that casual access and casual use of River City Labs. So it's a great thing when you're travelling. And if you've got an interest in a tech startup idea or you want to get immersed in that community, it's a great way of getting a foot in the door. So what are we here to do? And it's quite a simple mission. We're here to build capacity, capability, and harness innovation in the Australian tech sector. And I guess flowing down to members, it's about building your capacity, your skills, your capability, and your professional networks at each and every stage of the way. And how we offer that up, how that sort of materialises is with things like professional development events, like today. Last night we hosted a fabulous local professional development event here in Rockhampton and had close to 50 industry professionals who attended. We run a lot of webinars that you can access remotely. We've got some fabulous online training as well. And we also play a very important role in terms of advocacy to government and to industry on your behalf. So that's where that sort of advocacy and representation role fits in. So I thought I'd just put a little slide here together about how you can differentiate yourself in a very competitive tech market. And it is a very hot market at the moment, I think, for tech skills. So as we know, tech is changing so rapidly and the tech stacks are continually being updated and we need to keep those technical skills up to date. But it's also about your soft skills, and I think that's something that I really stress. In all of the conversations I've had with major tech employers, they say to me, well, look, we can teach the tech, we can develop the tech skills, but it's about that attitude, that inherent attitude that you have. It's about being coachable, being a great team player, excellent problem-solving skills, good communication skills. So there are all some skills to kind of reflect on as you go forward. And, you know, practicing those even whilst you're at university is great. As we touched on, with tech changing so rapidly, it's so important to keep those skills up to date, and I think demonstrating to future employers that you are committed to keeping those skills up to date. So in conjunction with your tertiary studies, it might be getting out to as many meetups as you can, or coming along to industry events like the one we held here last night. And we also have them, I know we've got people from around the country, we've got them happening in every capital city. So definitely keep that professional development attendance up to speed. It's also about building out your professional networks early. So I think it's never too early to start that process. I think having a really good, strong LinkedIn profile is a great starting point. And reaching out to hiring managers. So like the team today from CODEBOTS, don't be afraid to reach out. And I think it's a bit of a law of averages as well. The more approaches you make, to the right companies, the more, I guess, you increase your chances of landing that graduate role of your dreams. So definitely, yeah, I would just say knock on as many doors as you can and get out to as many industry events as you can. So student members ask me, what's in it for me? What do I get out of my student membership? So I thought I'd just hone in on some very specific benefits that can support you along your student and graduate career and beyond. So we've got a free ACS careers platform and jobs board, which lives behind the member logo on the website. And our employer partners like CODEBOTS will pop their roles up there and advertise those roles out. So it's a fantastic go-to if you're in the market for a role. We've got an online learning accelerator, which is our learning management system that's powered by Percipio. So there's over 2,500 short course pathways on that learning accelerator. It's free for all of our members, and it varies from everything like short videos, instructional videos, through to short online courses that might have a little certificate attached, through to practice exams as well. So in conjunction with your tertiary studies here, it's a fantastic way to also just build up your knowledge areas, particularly around specific technical topics and soft skill topics as well. As I touched on before, we've got very regular webinars that we offer up. So generally there's something on once a week and they're free for members to attend, and you can dial in from anywhere across the country for those. Our Rockhampton chapter, who met last night, have fabulous face-to-face events. So typically 3 times a year they're offering something that you'd be very welcome to attend as a student member. And we always offer those events free to our members. So that's our sort of way of supporting you and ensuring that you're getting the most value for your membership. We do have free professional and public liability insurance as well. So that is an umbrella insurance offering that's open to all of our members. It doesn't cost you anything. It's particularly relevant to those who might be interested in starting up their own tech consultancy, or if you've got a tech startup idea, and it will cover you to the value of $100,000 turnover. If you start turning over more than that, then there is some top-up cover available that you can purchase. But it's a very good base cover, particularly if you're on that sort of early startup journey. As I touched on before, we've got free casual use of River City Labs in Brisbane. And you can just see a photo of the hub there at River City Labs on the screen. But additionally, in Sydney, New South Wales-based members can access the Sydney hub, and we also have a Melbourne hub in Barangaroo. So whether you're based down there or you're travelling, all you need to do is show your membership card at the door, and you've got access to those hubs, which is great. And the other great tip I'll give you is we have lots of technical reports that you can download for free from the ACS website. They're a great adjunct or resource with your tertiary studies, and you can use them as reference materials. So definitely check out some of those, and they'll also give you a good insight into where the key areas of tech are heading and where the jobs are going to be. We've got different career trajectory tools. So on the website, you can access the My Sophia online tech self-profiling tool. And what the Sophia is, it's actually an internationally recognised benchmark for ICT professionals around the world. It's called the Skills Framework for the Information Age. So I really encourage you when you join to go on and complete that self-development tool. Essentially, it's a self-assessment of your tech skills and where you sit on the Sophia, which goes from sort of an entry level up to like a level 5, which is more your senior level, your CIO level. But it can really help you plot your career trajectory and where you might need to develop those technical and leadership skills into the future. So that's definitely worth a look. Follow us on social media. So we're very active. We have an ACS Queensland Facebook page where we post up a lot about what we're running. There's also national ACS Facebook and LinkedIn channels. And would really encourage you to hit me up on LinkedIn and connect. I publish a lot about what we're doing around the state on my LinkedIn. But yeah, definitely follow us. That's a great way to keep in touch with what we're doing. But ultimately, I think student membership really demonstrates to those future employers that you're committed to your ongoing professional development. And that's one of the key things a student member mentioned to me. It's like, I want to show that I'm committed to my ongoing development, keeping my skills up to date, building out my professional networks, and student membership really does allow me to do that. So it's easy and quick to join. You can join online via the link there, and student membership is $72 per year. So it works out to about the cost of a cup of coffee per month, and it is also tax deductible, given it relates to your studies and your ongoing career. And the other benefit I'd just like to finish off on, here is a great array of all of our professional partners. Now, this is just a small snippet of who we've got on board here in Queensland. So essentially, these are corporate members who come along and present at events like today, who'll advertise jobs out on the jobs board, and who'll attend member events. So it's a great way to network, meet new industry connections who can open up the door to potential career opportunities. So there's a really good array of different members there, including CODEBOTS. So that's about it from me for today. Definitely invite any questions here from the floor or any questions online. But please do feel free to connect via LinkedIn and pop any questions through that way as well. Thank you.
Excuse me, thank you, Holly and CODEBOTS. Very interesting.
Thank
I'm sure
you.
the students will find it so.
And just before I finish off, any questions that might be online at the moment?
I have one. You were referring to, sorry. So the camera is not straight away. That's okay. So you were referring to the Rockhampton student chapter. Is there one in Brisbane? Because I'm based in Brisbane, and for the students in Brisbane, is there one?
Absolutely. So we have regional chapters. So we've got a regional chapter in Rockhampton, Townsville, the Gold Coast, Toowoomba, and soon to be Bundaberg. In Brisbane, we probably don't have a chapter per se, but we run a lot of events out of River City Labs. So that's where we would hold probably the bulk of our face-to-face events. So I definitely encourage you to check out the event calendar and see what we've got coming up. We also hold events specifically for emerging professionals. So we have a half-day emerging professionals conference that we would run every 6 months. And we've also got an online version of that that runs once a month as well.
Oh, all right. So I've already joined the LinkedIn group for CQU, so for ACS. So yeah,
Great.
just checking in. Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you at some Brisbane events. Any other questions before we finish up?
I'm sorry. What was that? I couldn't get you.
I just said any other questions before.
Sorry. That's all.
Well, I think that might wrap us up for today. So again, many thanks to Jess and Aisha from CODEBOTS for that fantastic demo and run through. And a huge thanks to everybody here today and everyone online. And to CQ for hosting us, we really do appreciate it. Thanks very much everyone, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.